Hello, my dear friends. I wish for peace and happiness for all the parents out there. May you experience endless joy in your relationships with your children. As for me, I no longer have my parents with me, but I still have an abundance of support from others. Just recently, I had 100 students in my care, studying the path of meditation, psychology, and mindfulness. They've been with me for 4 years, and I take full responsibility for guiding them toward better mental and spiritual lives. My role here goes beyond pointing out their flaws and challenges. I also aim to nurture the strengths, the positive seeds within them. Each one of them is different. No two are the same. Some of them are strong, others more delicate. Some are serious, while others are playful. Some are sharp-witted, while others are gentle. We have students with leadership talents and others with nurturing abilities. Some work tirelessly but easily lose energy, while others may not be ready to dive into challenges yet maintain emotional balance. I find joy in observing them all. It's like watching a garden full of different flowers, each unique in its own way. I've come to accept and embrace all their differences. Though my duty is to help them find balance, cutting back on what's excessive and adding more to what's lacking, I know I can't change their inherent nature. What I can do, however, is help them develop and hone their natural talents and values. Each of them carries their own unique qualities, and I urge them to hold on to what makes them special. In this world, we need all kinds of values and strengths, and honestly, I never want them to become versions of me. That would be impossible, and even more, I am far from perfect. But what's more important is that they remain true to themselves, because believe me, they are already wonderful and unique. So I tell them, be yourself, don't try to be anyone else. Trust in the differences that the universe has given you. As for myself, yes, I carry a little of what my teachers and my parents passed on to me, but the majority of who I am today is shaped by my own efforts, my own strengths. I've built my life into something uniquely mine. I'm very fortunate that my parents supported me in choosing this path, even though, back in the day, choosing a monastic life was considered unusual. People thought only those who were heartbroken, psychologically troubled, or elderly would choose to follow a spiritual life. People with youth, talent, and beauty, why would they choose this path? It was hard for parents to understand, but my parents saw my desire and understood my personality. I'm someone who won't give up easily. They saw my potential and my sincere wish to become a spiritual guide, so despite the doubts, they supported me. And I know it wasn't easy for them. They must have faced a lot of gossip and concerns from relatives and neighbors. They worried about whether the path I chose was the right one, whether I would find happiness and success. They didn't know back then that I could become a meditation teacher, a spiritual healer, or an inspirational figure. But they trusted me, and that's all they needed to do. They didn't just give me material comfort, but they gave me something far more precious, the freedom to be who I truly am. I'll always be grateful for that. If my parents had insisted on me following a different path, I may not have become the person I am today, the teacher I am today. They may not have provided all the material comforts that some other parents do, but they gave me the greatest gift of all, the freedom to make my own choices. And I believe that if I were to become a parent, I would do the same. Now, as a teacher, I follow in the footsteps of my own teachers who also allowed me to choose my path. At first, they too were worried, but as they saw me walk confidently on this journey, they supported me with all their hearts. I know that if my parents had opposed my decision, if they had tried to control my life and steer me in a different direction, I wouldn't have been able to walk this path with the same certainty. It would have led to a battle between them and me. I would have fought for my dream, and they would have fought for their expectations. But such a conflict, especially in close relationships like that, is exhausting and unproductive. It would have taken away my focus and energy for the very thing I was meant to do. I remember a story I read about a frog, a sad story from Vietnam. It was about a frog placed inside a coconut, where it couldn't move, couldn't jump, couldn't feel the sunlight. The people did this to the frog, keeping it in captivity, changing its natural state to fulfill their own needs. The frog couldn't live the life it was meant to live because it was imprisoned by human hands. The story deeply moved me and made me think of all the young people with controlling parents who try to shape their children into something they're not realizing that this stifles the child's growth and true potential. It's a tragedy, really, to see a child lose their identity in the pursuit of fulfilling someone else's desires. These young people grow up feeling empty, angry, and regretful. They feel that their uniqueness has been stripped away, and they blame their parents for it. They may love their parents, but they also harbor a deep sense of resentment. How could parents take away the very thing that gives life its meaning, our unique identity? As I reflect on the consequences of such actions, I can't help but feel a deep sense of compassion for those whose true selves have been suppressed. It's heartbreaking to see children who were once vibrant and full of potential grow up in a world that never allowed them to be themselves. They carry around the weight of their parents' expectations, trying to live up to an image that was never their own. And for what? To make their parents happy? To avoid conflict? But the truth is, no one can truly thrive when they are not allowed to express who they are. Every individual has a unique path to walk, a personal journey that is meant to unfold in its own time and way. We are all different, and that's what makes us valuable. The world needs diverse minds, diverse talents, and diverse ways of thinking. When we stifle this diversity, we not only harm the individual, but we also harm society as a whole. We lose out on the potential that each person holds. And this isn't just about parents either. It's about all of us. It's about how we view each other, how we approach differences, and how we support each other in becoming the best versions of ourselves. Are we accepting of others' differences? Are we open to supporting them as they explore their own paths, even if those paths seem strange or foreign to us? I think one of the most important lessons we can learn in life is the value of acceptance, not just of others, but also of ourselves. We need to embrace who we are, our strengths, our weaknesses, our quirks, and our flaws. It's okay to be different. In fact, it's essential. I don't want anyone to feel like they have to become someone they're not just to fit in or to meet someone else's expectations. The teachings of Buddhism, particularly the Four Immeasurable Minds, emphasize the importance of love that is unconditional and all-encompassing. These four qualities, loving kindness, compassion, sympathetic joy, and equanimity, are the foundation of a heart that is truly open to the world and to others. Loving kindness encourages us to wish happiness for all beings. Compassion urges us to alleviate suffering, both our own and others. Sympathetic joy allows us to celebrate the success and joy of others without envy. And equanimity teaches us to remain balanced, not swayed by external circumstances. These teachings resonate deeply with me, especially when I think about how we relate to those we love. Loving kindness is about offering our love freely, without expecting anything in return. It's about giving joy to others simply for the sake of their happiness. Compassion, on the other hand, asks us to go beyond our own comfort zone to alleviate suffering, to be there for others when they are in pain. Sympathetic joy teaches us to rejoice in the success of others, to feel genuinely happy for them rather than threatened. And equanimity helps us maintain peace, even in the face of difficulty, so we can continue to support those we love without being overwhelmed. But love, true love, requires us to let go of our attachment to a certain outcome. It requires us to release our expectations of others. This is the hardest part for many parents. It's one thing to love your child, but it's another to love them in a way that allows them to grow and become their own person. This is where the real challenge lies, learning to accept that our children may not turn out the way we imagined or hoped. They may choose a different path, one that is unexpected or difficult to understand. But we must trust that they are doing what they need to do to find their own happiness, to follow their own truth. It's not easy. It's not easy to let go of the idea that our children must be a certain way, or that they must live up to our dreams and expectations. But in doing so, we free them to live their own lives, to make their own decisions, and to experience the fullness of life in their own way. The goal is not for them to be happy for us, but for them to be happy for themselves. I think about the Buddha's own journey. He had everything: wealth, comfort, and a position of great power. But he chose to leave it all behind in search of something deeper, something more meaningful. His parents, too, must have been deeply concerned, confused by his choice. But they trusted him. They understood that he was following his own path, and that in doing so, he would find the answers he was seeking. His decision was not just for himself, but for all of humanity. His journey ultimately led him to enlightenment, and his teachings continue to guide millions of people around the world. In a way, I see my own path as being similar. It's not just about me. It's about something larger than myself, something that connects me to the world around me. And in that sense, I'm grateful to my parents for allowing me to walk this path, even though it was not the path they had envisioned for me. But I also understand that it wasn't easy for them. They had to let go of their expectations, their dreams for me, and trust that I would find my way. It took time, but eventually they saw that I was happy, that I was at peace with my decision, and that was all they needed to see. I wish the same for every parent: peace in knowing that their children have the freedom to choose their own paths, and joy in seeing them live authentically without fear or limitation. Because when we let go of our need to control, when we trust in the wisdom of others and in the power of their unique journey, we create a world where people can truly thrive. In the end, it all comes down to trust. Trust in ourselves and trust in others. As parents, we must trust that our children are capable of making their own decisions and navigating their own paths, even if those paths are not the ones we envisioned for them. As individuals, we must trust ourselves enough to walk the road less traveled, to embrace the unknown, and to be true to who we are, even when it feels uncomfortable or uncertain. This trust is what allows us to live freely, to pursue our dreams, and to become the best versions of ourselves. Without trust, we are constantly in conflict, both with ourselves and with those around us. We are unable to move forward because we are too caught up in fear, in the desire to control, and in the need for approval. And this, I believe, is one of the greatest lessons we can teach our children and our students: how to trust, how to embrace uncertainty, and how to stay true to their own hearts. Because when we trust ourselves, we align with our inner purpose. We find clarity and peace, and we can move through life with a sense of direction and fulfillment. I've seen this in my students over the years. I've seen them struggle. I've seen them doubt themselves. But when they finally learn to trust in their own abilities and in their own path, something incredible happens. They begin to bloom. They begin to grow in ways they never imagined. And this is the beauty of allowing someone to be themselves, to give them the space and the support to find their own way. It's not about making them into something they are not, but rather helping them become the fullest expression of who they already are. It's about giving them the freedom to explore, to fail, and to learn. It's about offering them the tools to navigate life's challenges and the wisdom to understand that setbacks are not the end of the road, but rather opportunities to grow stronger. I think this is something we could all use more of in our lives: more trust in ourselves and in the process of life. We don't need to have all the answers right away. We don't need to have everything figured out. Life is a journey, and the more we trust in it, the more we learn to let go and surrender, the more beautiful the journey becomes. Sometimes we may feel like we're lost, like we don't know where we're headed. But it's important to remember that being lost doesn't mean we're failing. It simply means we're in the process of discovering something new. When we trust ourselves, we allow ourselves to explore, to take risks, and to learn from our experiences. And as we walk this path, we can be a source of support for others. We can be the ones who cheer on our friends and family members as they take their own journeys, as they trust themselves and grow into the people they are meant to be. We can offer love and encouragement, just as we hope others will offer us. This is what true love looks like, the kind of love that does not seek to control, but instead seeks to nurture and support. The kind of love that trusts in the growth and potential of others, even when the path is difficult or uncertain. The kind of love that understands that each person is unique and that we all have our own way of experiencing the world. I look at my students and I see so much potential in each of them. They have their own dreams, their own struggles, their own paths to walk. And my role as a teacher is not to make them into someone they are not, but to help them see their own strengths and support them as they grow into the people they are meant to be. I want them to know that they are enough just as they are. They don't need to be anyone else. They don't need to meet anyone else's expectations. All they need to do is trust themselves, embrace their uniqueness, and walk their own path with confidence and courage. And the same goes for all of us. We are all enough, just as we are. We don't need to change who we are to fit into someone else's idea of success. We don't need to prove anything to anyone. The only thing we need to do is trust in ourselves and in the journey we are on. Because when we do, we open ourselves up to the incredible possibilities that life has to offer. So, let us all take a step back and reflect on this. Let us give ourselves and others the freedom to be who we truly are. Let us trust in the journey and in the wisdom of our own hearts. Let us embrace the beauty of our differences and celebrate the uniqueness of every person we meet. I believe this is the way to true happiness and fulfillment, by being true to ourselves, by trusting the process, and by supporting each other on our journeys. And I hope that through my work, I can inspire others to do the same.